Are we live now? I think we're finally live now. What a mess. All right. Okay, dokes. We're waiting for a few other traders to get in here. This is quite the week, guys. You know, I imagine most of you probably watching this later, so I'm going to talk as if I am making a YouTube video and not just live streaming, especially since no one's going to be in here right away. Let's see. We took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 trades, day trades this week. We opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 swing trades. So we had 12 day trades. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them were wins. Oh, no. Well, no. Tesla was technically a win. I don't even know if anyone took this. This one was fast this morning. This was the actual signal. Was breaking over this that we had set up. And then this was just a difficult cut when it ran over. And it was just the choppiness right there with the market also not looking good this morning because this melted down. Tesla melted up, and the correlation just wasn't very strong with the Qs either. So when everything got really choppy, I actually went ahead and caught Tesla, and I was able to get some profits, but only because I got in so early. This has been a really fast mover in the morning for an easy scalp repeatedly, so that's what I intended to do this morning. Pretty much whatever trend comes in the morning gives you a quick one-sided move, and then you pretty much get out. So that was the only reason I was able to get out of profit. So 10 trades. I'm sorry, 12 day trades, 10 wins, 83% win rate for the week. But a slow week, right? Only 12 trades. And then swings. Well, I know we lost on 2 of the swings. XLE working. I really like XLE. It's just a tough week. Yeah, there really wasn't a lot of trades. What a bummer. It really has been. Wasn't a lot of trades, wasn't a lot of plays. We came in with some convictions on some stuff. But I mean, the bummer was this week we kicked it off with just a horrible squeeze. You know, I came into this week short. Very short. Looking at this price action and looking for a further drawdown. And we just got a huge reversal out of the hole. Enough that the daily actually started to turn over even for the Qs. Look at that. So, you know, we're also testing this trend line right here. So this trend line, it looks a lot cleaner on the 1 hour. And so, in my opinion, right there. So in my opinion, you're actually getting a full-blown breakout right here. Let's actually take this to regular hours. So if we take this to regular hours, it actually looks like this could still give us a meltdown. Let me share this. Despite the good rid weight on the day trades, this week still didn't feel that good. It's a bit odd. Maybe because it's so slow. I just know that all those day trades were me kind of combating my puts I had, and I just got kind of off sides. Is this headset or? Let me test it real quick.
Republicans are.
It's on. All right. So we're gonna run down through some stock names, and we should be joined here. We're gonna be joined here soon by some other traders in the Discord, who are gonna hop into the live stream, probably ask me some questions. While we wait for one of our insider traders to join, I am just going to quickly grab a glass of water because I should have had it here and apparently I set it somewhere. Okay. Oh, why'd I do that? I should have just used a towel. Whatever. I'm ridiculous. Someone else do that? You kind of just wipe it on your shirt? I'm at home. I forget that I'm at home sometimes. And actually like public facing with a camera on. Whatever. We are looking at the data here. This week was really interesting. Next week's going to be even more interesting. Remember, Wednesday is going to be a really big day. We have the interest rate decisions, the FOMC economic predictions, and the interest rate projections, right? So the market right now, if we pulled it up and looked at it, it would tell you that the market is increasingly thinking that there's going to be a 50 basis point hike. And so that is being priced into this market. We're actually seeing rallies. Now there's, an idea that this could cause some fear, but as we look at the market, it seems like it's actually caused some strength, and we've actually seen Bitcoin back over 60,000 now, something that we were actually anticipating since this morning. And the one who originally pointed that out just joined our Discord call. Noob, you want to talk? See if they can pick up your voice.
No, I don't want to talk. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. How's it going? I didn't hear what you covered so far. I heard you talking about crypto. I actually glanced at crypto or Bitcoin specifically a few minutes ago and saw that it was up when I looked at it, not a few minutes ago, but maybe like an hour ago. When I looked at it, it was up to around 60,400 for the spot. Is it still around there? Or has it rallied more? I was expecting a little bit more of a rally, but it kind of rallied even prior to the market close. I thought it was going to pop a little more after the close. What's it at now?
60,390.
So it's about the same. Yeah, I was hoping to get a couple more percent in there, but I guess you got to be patient.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's important to me is that this daily chart is really starting to improve.
Have you covered any of the?
You're breaking up real bad.
Covered like any actual. Oh, I was like, get to a better spot.
Yeah, so while you're waiting to get to a better spot or whatever, right, so people can hear you. What was interesting to me is that this parabola ended up holding, and this still looks like the cup and handle is still in play. And so I'm looking to see if this wants to continue to play out for the upside for Bitcoin. There's still a scenario where you see these fibs come back into play, and we see some further downside if the Fed meeting doesn't go well. And overall, what I'm looking at for the SPIX is doing some Elliott wave analysis that we've been tracking. What I'm looking for is to see if we get either this B wave touch and then come down for a C wave for further retracements to the downside at 5,300, or whether this will be just a fourth wave down. So regardless, based on what we see here in the technicals, regardless, like right about 5670, technically this could probably occur within this range here, is what you would probably be looking for. Technically in this range, we should see this retracement happen. And so then on the reversal is when we're going to get the further confirmation of whether this has been a corrective wave development or it's been a bullish wave development. And so the corrective wave could still give way to more bullish price action, but overall I would actually see that I would expect this to actually develop even more bearish than shown here. So this would actually be the least bearish outcome, if that makes sense. And so, by the way, hey, if you guys are in the stream, can you hear me all right? Can I get some confirmation? I'll give it a few moments for you to catch up. Type it in the comments if you can hear me okay.
You hear me any better now, Josh?
Fine. Let me give stream a moment and see if they can let me know if they can hear it okay. What's up, the Schwartz show? I'm pretty sure I know who that is, actually.
Schwartz or Schwartz? Like, may the Schwartz be with you?
I think it's a last name. All right, chat doesn't say anything, so hopefully they can hear us. Actually, that might be a sign that they can't hear us.
Yeah,
now that I think about it, that might be a very bad sign.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Let me check the stream myself.
They're not responding. Wait, they're not responding. They definitely can hear us.
I now realize how silly that was. Oh, no. Yeah, stream's working. Just fine. I can hear myself. Actually, let me pull that back up. I want to hear you talk. Just fine. I can hear myself. Actually, let me.
What's your vector? Or what's your vector?
Just fine. I can hear myself. Actually, let me.
What's your vector? Or what's your vector?
Oh, you're a bit loud.
You have 5 points of each.
You're a bit loud. I'm going to turn you down a little bit. All right. I was just going over my analysis and expectations for the index for the SPIX. Noob. That's what I was just covering. The two potentials that I'm looking for, regardless of kind of. I will say that this looks really bullish to me, so I'm expecting these all-time highs to get tested a third time, and I do think that even if it's bullish, it's not going to get a breakout. You could see something like this does, like get a slight breakout and then rolls over. But I am looking for a pullback either way. And then the fourth wave. Go ahead.
Are you looking for a pullback? Are you looking for a pullback to break out of this new uptrend? Or are you just looking for a little bit of a retracement?
I'm looking for this uptrend to bring us all the way to all-time highs and then have a retracement.
Okay. Yeah.
A back test that either turns into a further drawdown, and this is just a giant B wave bait, or it turns into a stronger would bring us to 5,800.
Before, what day was it that we were down? It was the day after the debate. That was the capitulation. That was very clear, obvious capitulation, followed by a squeeze into more of rallying, and that was the volume that people were looking for to one way or the other, either go all in short or all in long.
Right.
In my mind, I mean, it was a beautiful reversal, a clear capitulation, and then squeeze the crap out of the shorts. It couldn't have happened any more perfect. Like, you should have so much confidence into a move like that after the fact, especially in my mind. Um, I do find it interesting that we're seeing massive outperformance, like we already talked about in the Russell in relation to the other indexes. They kind of front ran the rally a little bit, so they were the leaders on day one, but the Russell was the weakest of all of the index into the down move by far. The Russell was getting rocked every day in relation to the other indexes. I'm pretty sure it was, if not every day that we were down, it was the leader. It was pretty close, which was kind of disappointing given what happened the last time that we rallied. The Russell really outperformed, and I thought we were going to go into like a new kind of trend where the Russell was going to be holding its own. So I was disappointed to see how weak the Russell really was into this most recent weakness. It did not hold up and reverse the whole long-term trend that we've seen of outperformance in the NASDAQ and the SPOOs in relation to the Russell. But now we're going back to the Russell leading the group higher these last, 3 days now. The Russell has...
Yeah, and I think the best way to interpret that is, well, from a macro standpoint, is as a bullish view of the cuts actually, instead of a bearish. Which I think, even more importantly, I think the market isn't as concerned about growth, even though we've kind of seen from the data, we've seen some deterioration in strength. Although I think what I think today you would have typically, so I think it's really important. What I've been seeing and noticing is these violent capitulations that are immediately bought up. This looks like the dealers unwinding, like positions. It looks like dealers were caught offside into these rallies, and then they're trying to get long and try to unwind their short positions, and then slowly just squeezing it up. All these rallies end up getting bought up, and then you get these violent downside moves. Those violent downside moves to me are is actually the market getting out of the way and then getting bullish. So that's been really interesting to see. So I think
To be on, to be honest with you, I was never really as bearish as you were.
right.
I
Well, I
I
mean,
didn't cover my longs. I
my
just
big
put
money,
on some hedges.
yeah, my big money making week was I was short for this entire move,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
then I
you
carried.
made great money this week if you were.
Well, I made great money last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been this move. I'm looking at the 1 hour. So,
Yeah, this down move.
yeah, this down move right here, I was short the whole way down. I was also short down this way, the carry trade blow up. But I was short here, and then I was still short at this point, managing my positions. I closed a lot of my short positions here near the lows, though, because we were up so much. I had no choice. I tried to reload here, and then I got squeezed out during this move here. So
In my mind,
now,
I couldn't see this anything more than a larger retracement because the news just wasn't scary enough for me. We were slowly creeping up. There wasn't a jump in the VIX that was that meaningful. We went up to 20, but that's not outside of the average of the VIX if you look at, you know, retracements in the past. A VIX, we're so used to coming through a long period of history where, volatility and volatility futures were down in the 12s, but that's not normal. That's on the very, very low end of the range. I think it even got back to 9 like over the last 5 to 10 years, but that's very abnormal. This is an average range that we're currently seeing. We're going down to like 13, 14, 15, and then up to 22. That's more representative of the actual average for the VIX in a healthy market.
I'd say that's fair.
It's actually, I think I used to know what the average was over the last like 50 years or so, and it's around kind of what we've been seeing. This is a great traders market. You can't ask for a better market for traders. We're not seeing completely one way action. It's obviously a bull market, but we're getting these massive retracements where you can get bearish and make great money like you did. And we're also not getting, you still there?
Yeah.
We're also not getting a slow grind higher every day with low volatility and nothing to really do. That's the worst market for a trader, when we just kind of creep higher and creep higher and creep higher.
Right. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this
This
is
this week was decent because we were able to catch some good moves to the upside on some of these days. Especially since I think a few of our members outperformed me this week. I know several that caught this entire move with Spy out of the hole on what was that on Wednesday,
I
where
literally
where
bought.
we were live and you said word for word, oh, there's a 4% chance that we rally out of this hole, based it on historical analysis, and then we did,
Mhm.
and we rallied all the way up to new highs.
Rallied the well. It
This
was
was an
it was a hundred
insane day.
and it was 140 point move from top to bottom in the S&Ps, and it was over a 700 point move in the Nasdaq um, that day, and over a 700. I don't remember what the Dow closed, but it was over. I know they were down 700 and they ended positive, so it was very unexpected.
Yeah. And I mean, all breakdowns where it went and tested key levels and then just defended and bounced, both on Thursday and today. We had this trend line develop, breaks down, tests the key level, bounces back up, breaks down, tests the key level, bounces up. And I mean, just today, you couldn't get back below that 561.50. You just came right back up. It was so bullish.
Yeah, if you had the stones to hold that into that, like literally, I bought futures that same day, nearly at the very bottom. But if you had the stones to hold those contracts, then good on you, because you made great money. But even I couldn't justify holding them for
All the
multiple
way up.
days. Yeah, nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wish I did.
Such good profits all the way up. And then Nvidia's been doing a good job of cleaning up. Although I think Microsoft's actually been the leader.
Yeah, Nvidia wasn't Nvidia down today? It was interesting because it was an inside day for Nvidia
It was.
today, but the premium really came out of Nvidia. So on both sides, calls and puts, they sucked premium out of Nvidia today.
Right. Right.
So I found that interesting. What else? Tesla was kind of disappointing today, not gonna lie. But the Nasdaq in general was overall really disappointing today. Where the smaller, what would traditionally be considered less quality stocks really shine today. You had companies like Affirm, Chewy was a massive mover today. Another one we talked about was Unity. Neo fought its way right back from being down like almost 10%
Well,
yesterday. So,
Unity's a U stock. Yeah. Yeah. For
what's
those,
that?
yeah, you outperformed me this week. I can almost guarantee it.
Well, I love trading
Yeah.
those type of stocks though. So I get beat up on the way down, but when they come for those pigs of a stock, they're very volatile and they explode. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this one's been really
but
interesting. I caught some of this move on the upswing post earnings. We did play this together actually.
yeah,
I didn't know
yep.
you had continued long into the chop that we saw preceding that. And actually, I didn't even know what the news. It was just
I didn't even see that. I
upswing.
imagine it was yesterday. I imagine because they had a over a 10% move yesterday, but I didn't look at the news. I just hoped it was the market saying, "Okay, it's time." Yeah, price target from 16 to 20. Looks like Jeffries. Oh, multiple price targets that were adjusted.
us are seeing definitely a bullish skew here.
Yeah. And this stock, I think, bottomed out around 15, maybe
Yeah.
14. Yeah, 14. And it's been fighting in this range now for ever since June. So we've got some good consolidation here, and we're clearly breaking higher. So
Yes.
the problem you're going to run into here is once this thing starts to move in the upward direction, they dump um, premium into these contracts. So you're going to pay for the contracts after these last 2 days of rallying. You're definitely going to pay for them. I guarantee they're going to be expensive.
Right. It'll probably pull back some on Monday.
Yeah, they're not crazy expensive, but they're not cheap either.
So what's caught your attention for the week ahead?
I'm really hoping that we see, like I said, not crypto, but specifically Bitcoin. Usually if Bitcoin goes up, obviously crypto in general goes up, but I think I really like when you look at like the yearly chart of a stock like MSTR. We just bounced off EMAs here, which we've done before. It's a very volatile asset. So I have a very large position that's bullish in MSTR. You'll probably see, if we do get to see a little bit of a follow through in this Bitcoin rally, you'll see Mara, companies like that, and Coinbase. I don't trade Coinbase as much as of late. Been trading more Mara and MSTR.
I did set up some Mara longs again. They bled on the day, but I'm looking for these to bounce back to life. I will say earlier in this year, when I did my Elliott wave analysis, I said it could go to 12, and then I think it was like around 14. I was like, close enough. And then we caught the rally up, so backed up to 18, and then we got the downtrend again, which I was cutting on the way down here. I didn't.
No, you said 14. You literally said 14, which is where it went to. I remember.
Well, no,
When you said,
I'm talking
are you
about.
talking Mara?
No, it was months ago. It was months ago. It was like May.
Oh, okay.
I was like, on technical analysis, there is a chance that it goes to 12. This looks like a.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're talking about the first initial rally where we made good money.
This is probably a 5 wave. Yeah, I mean, in March, this was the best play of the year. Back in March, we caught this whole move from, I think we caught that from 16 up to the 30s back in March. And I remember I had my two most profitable days of the year. Probably in this rally and then this preceding rally. I actually came in on the dip. Actually, that would have been January into February, and then and then again in March we caught it. So the February, that was my best play of the year, is right there.
The crypto type stocks, yeah. So I'm definitely playing them, but I don't have a play on yet in these ags, but the softs are really starting to show some signs of life again. So your corn, wheat, soybeans, they have been just steadily getting rocked for over a year now. Not a year, but no, it's been.
Well, I noticed that. What is it?
Months.
I was looking at SPFM. It was one of the leading stocks in the Russell right now is Sprout Farmers.
That makes well. I mean,
look at
what
this.
I see
look
when
at this.
look at
SFM. Pull up SFM if you're not watching the live stream. Look at this thing. This thing's completely parabolic.
Oh, that doesn't make sense. That thing's going in. What is it? Sprout Farmers Market, $10 billion company. I've not seen this.
Yeah, this has actually climbed its way into one of the top 5 holdings of IW of the Russell.
The problem with it is it doesn't even trade a million shares a day. I mean,
It's
it's an ag product. It's
yeah, fiber.
none of these type of companies usually trade. However, the option volume or the option spreads in there are not terrible.
Right, I know it is interesting. Notice that too.
And there's some open interest more than I would expect for the amount of volume it has. Not a ton, but there's some. So
Yeah.
it's tradable.
Um,
Hmm.
Definitely some speculation on the out the money put side.
I'm looking at I'm looking at a 3 year chart of this thing. It's gone in 5x in 3 years.
Crazy. Who would have expected that?
Interesting.
Sprout farmers to be having a heyday.
And it's not even like there's not even skew,
And it was
which is really interesting.
it
There's
was
no call skew.
literally in like a 10-year bear market before with parabolic. Yeah, I have no clue what the story here is.
That's interesting. But no, the softs. I think maybe there's a play in there. For me, I'd be looking at maybe selling some puts or maybe some out of the money call spreads or something like that. I think it's worth a shot. These things have been really beat down over the last 3 years. Really, the last time they got a bid was the freaking invasion of Ukraine, where everything went parabolic, and since then it's just been in a downtrend. So that we haven't really started a new bull market in there, but I would be keeping an eye on here to see if maybe this is going to be forming some type of bottom.
Actually,
So
so one of our Discord members is telling me this isn't a farming company; it's a competitor to Kroger. I didn't even know that.
mm, okay.
Interesting, because I just set up Kroger calls today, actually for a swing position. I think they look really strong, and this kind of plays into the value trend that we're seeing. Actually, I want to see it. I don't know if I. Let's do an update on the heat map here. Banks, the big banks were weak. Eli Lilly was weak. Tech was somewhat stagnant with Adobe leading the way to the downside. That Adobe was a miss on for me. I expected Adobe to sell off, but I didn't play it. I had all the reasons to in my head. I put it in the weekly report that I was bearish, and I didn't cash
It was inside, wasn't it?
I didn't play this move to the downside.
I think it was an inside move.
It,
Oh, $50.
it dropped $50 on the earnings, and I was
Yeah, but $50 is less than a 10% move. I don't know what was priced in for the earnings. I do know that um, some people sold iron condors in there and made a profit. So that tells me the only way that that's really possible is typically when you have an inside move.
man. They sold iron
88.
condors and made a money. How wide was their spread?
Um,
What did they sell the 500?
I think it was they sold a 10. They sold a 10. I don't have it written down. I was just told this today, and it was a $10 wide spread. So it probably would have been around the 500s, and it was in the. I think it was in the end of this coming week's cycle. So it was a very short. It was just straight earnings play. So they would have been like a 8-day or 10-day type expiration. So all of the excess premium would have come out if you sold a $10 wide.
Oh, so they for sure just got crushed. I will say that this looks very bearish still on the daily and weekly. So this actually might be worthy of an alert to come in short on a break of the 526. 526.57.
This thing is too high priced to sell naked stuff in here for me.
Hey, Noob, do you think were we gonna get a 25-point cut next week or a 50-point cut next week?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't really care either way. I think markets are pricing the 50 point. So at 50, that's what's being priced. But I don't really follow it, and I don't even watch when they release it. I'll trade whatever's in front of me, but it's kind of irrelevant to me. So all you can do is look at the
Well,
pricing and see what we're
you said
pricing
you-
into the market.
Well, where do you see that pricing if you
If
trade
we're
it?
pricing a 50 point, yeah, we're pricing in a 50 point cut.
Where do you see that?
You can look at the future. If you go and you look at the futures for the bonds, and so you trade TLT, but the actual TLT tracks the actual the 20-year. It's the 20-year, I believe it tracks, right? Or is it the 30-year? There's different future products. So there's a 30-year futures product, there's a 10-year, a 20-year, a 5-year, and a 2-year. And they all are the future anticipated price of these particular bonds, which is basically giving you the forecast for which direction we're headed and by how much. The current rates are not off, but where they're expected to be in the future. So when you see the bonds rally, or when you see them, the futures rather, not the actual bonds, but when you see the futures rally, it's giving you literally of an anticipation of where we're going to be during that expiration, where everyone is pricing where we're going to be at.
Are you talking about ZB?
Yeah, ZB is the 30-year.
Okay. Do you know the 20-year?
The 20-year is going to be they're going to be. I don't usually track the 20-year. The 10-year are the notes. I don't think I tracked the 20-year. I just tracked the 30-year, the 10-year, the 5, and the 2. And I really don't ever trade the 5. I will trade the 10, or I will trade the 10 and the 2 against one another. And then your 30-year is going to be what you're looking at basically in the form of a ETF when you look at the TLT. That makes sense.
Okay, neat. Thanks.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. I'm curious though. Obviously, they're going to cut rates, so that would cause a rally. But what
Here's
do you
an
see-
easier. To be honest, the way that they price bonds is kind of more difficult than just looking straight at the yields, because the yields are what we're used to dealing with, like how much you're going to get paid for your money. So I like looking at the yields rather than looking straight at the actual bonds or the notes.
So, but tell me what exactly is you see the 50 point being priced in rather than the 25 point, because the CME watch tool still has a 25 point as greater odds. Like I'm serious. Like I want to know.
Now I couldn't tell you the mathematical formula. Just the traders that I watch that are the bond traders. And I don't trade, like I said, I don't trade the bonds that much. I trade the yields. The traders that I watch are saying, based on these prices, around the 126 is where we're seeing it at right now, is 127. Around the 126, according to the last thing that I was listening to from them, they're saying that this is pricing in effectively the 50 point. They're of the mindset that the actual bond price is, see, they take the stance that is not taken by many people. Even Josh probably wouldn't agree. Josh, do you think that the bond prices drive the Fed, or the Fed drive the bond prices?
Oh, jeez. I think bond prices drive the Fed. I think the Fed reacts to the bond market.
Okay, so
Yeah,
no, they take the same thing. Yeah.
If you look at Jeffrey
Yeah, I
Snyder's
agree.
channel, that's what he says. Like if you look at the charts, like the Fed.
Most people would say that the Fed is the one controlling the rates, but in reality, I think you're right, Josh, and I would tend to agree that they're literally the markets.
how else can you get a price on something without actually going to the market?
Right.
It only makes logical sense that the prices of bonds are what is more important and what actually ultimately drives. Because when you go to buy and sell something, it doesn't matter what you want it to be priced. It matters what it actually is trading for.
Yes.
I can get you the formula if you want to actually calculate exactly like how to calculate it based off the bonds. But I don't think you probably want to do that.
That seems like more than I need.
Yeah, there's actually on Tasty, they have bud traders on Tasty that come on and sit in at least once or twice a week that deal with the futures product. They have segments that you can watch on it if you want to learn more about it too. The biggest thing that I've traded with the bonds though over the last year has not actually even been the bonds. It's just been the yield spread. Because that in my mind seems like an easier trade. It's just a pair. And you can trade that with the bonds or you can trade it with yields. But again, the yields make more sense in my mind because that's how I'm used to dealing with money.
$50. Let's go.
Still there, Josh?
I'm still here. So Adobe has a really clean, really clean Elliott wave analysis here. So this looks like it's headed for potentially an A, B, C. And this should have some subway developments within it that play out. This could also be A, B, and then C like this. So the C wave might be playable to the downside. Expect recovery here, and then I think I want to do a review. For this one, I'll just do a personal review rather than having it notify the Discord. Okay. Yeah. What else do we want to talk about? I've got 25 minutes. You been following INQ at all? This was interesting today. It came up and tested this trend line here. Pretty big level, multiple touches at the 779.
It looks. Oh, sorry, DSB. It looks like you're right. As of this last week, it's only about 240 basis points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always right, so I'm not surprised.
Was it higher? Has it? No, it hasn't been that much higher.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Got up almost to 128. I was looking at the bonds and then how many basis points are priced in as of. This is telling me as of the 8th, which would have been at the beginning of the week.
Yeah, at the beginning of this week, there was a 15% chance of a 50 bip cut. Now it was going into the week before the CPI or PPI or whatever. It was a 45%, and then it went to 15, and it's back to 45. So whatever the bells are ringing are showing that the Fed probably overtightened. That's what I'm thinking. And right at the beginning of this year, there was most reports were saying, oh, there's going to be 6 rate cuts this year. This is the year they're going to cut rates, this, that, and the other. Now, if you look at the watch tool, what does it say? It says by next year, we're expecting like 400 bips as the fucking set rate. So that's 100 basis point cut in the next 3-4 months. So out of 3 meetings, we need to average over 25 basis points. So one of these has to be 50 basis points. Probably gonna be the first one. If that's what's being priced in. I mean, usually the Fed just does what people think they're gonna do. At least that's what it's just broken down to be, right?
Interesting. Sorry, I'm reading some.
Josh, tell us a little bit about Cornet. Cornet? It's Cornet.
It's Cornet
What's-
Digital. I guess it is Cornet Digital. Cornet. I always call it. Well, I actually always just call it KRNT.
So, like,
I
why
know
did the
companies-
stock go from 160 to 16?
So, this is the bubble. And actually, I played this stock from about 120. In 2021, I played this stock from about 120 all the way up. And so, I think I ended up selling it actually in the 160s. And the narrative there was that this company had the potential to really be, in my opinion, at the time, like there was the potential. We were getting good after earnings, after good after earnings, after good earnings, after good earnings of this company, and we were seeing that, oh my gosh, we might actually get adoption out of this 3D printing company in particular over all the other ones because of the scalability of their tech in the fashion industry. And so they were already penetrating high fashion, and what you could actually do with this tech is you could make the clothes the day of with a wide variety of fabrics and a wide variety of colors. You could, use them at these fashion shows, make the clothes the day of, do some quick designs, and then get that clothing out. And so the idea was like, oh my gosh, if they could get a major brand to sign with them on printing the clothing, they'll save a ton of money. They have a good business model, and for 4 quarters in a row, they have proved themselves as like this is something that actually works. And then it kind of fell apart. We didn't get the headlines, we didn't get the news. When the industry started pulling back in general due to the dot-com bubble collapsing, Cornet suffered horribly. So we saw them go. Management's been good though. So through this period, where I did not trade them for literally 2 full years.
You said the dot-com bubble collapsing?
Whatever, the COVID bubble collapsing, sorry.
COVID, okay. So,
Yeah, during this period, I didn't touch them at all. Then at the beginning of 2024, I was listening to another earnings because I never stopped paying attention to them. I just didn't think there was any potential here. On this earnings, it was a poor earnings, but I thought it was actually pretty good news that had come in. And so it looked like we had some really big stuff that was going to come out in February and March for the company, some new innovations, some new tech that they had been working on. And again, management had already gotten in defensive mode here. By this time period, they had created a path to profitability. And then they ended up delivered on the past 3 earnings towards that path of profitability. So I think it was in January, I went ahead and set up some leap calls. For most of the year, those did not work, and the stock just melted. I think at one point I was down 60%. But when I play long dated leaps, I'm playing off fundamentals. And then just in August, we get this really good earnings. They surprised by 300%. And then we've seen the stock absolutely rally. We then got big news of them doing a $100 million a buyback, which is really interesting for a company that I believe still holds, $1.1 billion valuation. They're literally buying back 10% of their company, and which is insane for a company that's technically not profitable. They're still on their path to profitability heading into 2025. And so it's wildly unusual, but they have about 400 million in cash and assets. So they're deploying that, and they're saying we already have all the things we need for the growth. We can give some value back to shareholders that have been sticking out with us. And so, I mean, this thing is pretty much on the path towards I mean, this thing could go much, much higher. Actually, this is probably most likely a 5-wave cycle that's beginning to play out. So I wouldn't be surprised if this company looks to get, to 20, to back to 30. Back to 30 here. And then, come back here, 5th wave, about 36, so this could get into the upper 30. So I'm a shareholder. The only thing is, like, I'm the only option holder. I think I might be literally the only guy in the Leaps. Last I checked on the Ashen chain, that was the case. I don't have my main account pulled up here, but I could pull. That's not what I want.
Yeah, I'm looking at the March 2025 calls. There's literally one open interest.
Right. And I
Just one.
Yeah, on the Januaries. So I'm actually here at the $17 Januaries, $17.75.
Oh, you know what? There's 32 open interest on.
There's some other people.
Some other people here. You're early.
I'm really early. Well, I mean, I've been following this company, just fell off everyone's radar. So I was tweeting about it earlier this year, and I mean, I literally went on X.com and I was trying to see if anyone was looking this up at all.
You can't even go that far out with these options. Like, you can go to $35. It used to be $160. Like, that's nuts. Yeah, okay, that first chart, that guy has 0 likes on that post. So these guys are they're effectively putting like sweatshops out of business or something.
They can. They have the potential. It's good tech. It's good management. And that management's proved that when they went on the defensive. And now we're climbing back out of the hole. This might be one of the few stocks that, post the tech sell-off actually fights their way back. I really like them a lot. I probably should throw some of these in the long term, even at $23. I think it's still
Do they
a decent...
produce any of their own clothing lines? Like, can I go buy a Cornet shirt right now? Or is they're working for
Well, it's a 3D printing company. It's not it's a technology clothing company. So, like, they don't have their own, like, brand of clothes or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So they sell the fabrics and stuff for the Peter Thiel went on the All In podcast. I know what I'm listening to tonight.
BSB, I'm sending you a link.
What I also like about them is, their advertising and stuff.
I'm sending you a
这
link
点是不
for
可能做得到的，所以
um,
这项创举是非常的
both
厉害。
ZB
那加上
and
本身的
all of
Duracell
the
它让整个手
generalized
感非
information
常的
about
符合品牌
the
的高要
bonds that will
求。
explain
它的
it way
牢固
better
的
than
测
me.
试
Because
也
like
都
I
是
said,
all pass。
I don't trade
所
the
以这
bonds
个
usually
应用
directly. I
是
trade the rate or the yields. And just glancing at it at first glance, there's a lot about it that I had no clue exactly, and that's how it worked. So it's right on the CME's website is the information, and a lot of it's really good. So take a look at it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I pretty much just use them for the rate prediction. So those are some good articles.
Well, look at the first one I sent you. That'll really break down the actual pricing, face amounts of all the bonds, notes, all that kind of stuff, all the instruments that are available. It's got a really in-depth overview of all of it. Sorry. No more talking about bonds. Weirdo.
You see, silver broke $30 today.
I actually sold premium in silver today.
Yeah, it's such a grinding thing to trade because you're like, oh my god, it's coming back, and then it just, that you're what's gonna, it's just so fucking tough to hold that shit. It's much easier just to shove a real silver in a box and just,
Josh, I was reading while you were. What were you last talking about? I missed the last part of what you were saying.
Oh, I really like Cornet. That's it. I mean, I guess the other thing I want to look at is Peloton. See, it was trying to make.
Did you cover that the other stock that we talked about today, IonQ?
No, I didn't really talk about it. Do you have comments on IonQ?
I didn't hear what you said. Do I what about IonQ?
Do you have comments on IonQ?
Do I have comments? Only if it gets above this current level that it didn't get above today. Then I think I would probably increase my size. Yeah, just based on the chart. It's difficult. It's a difficult trading vehicle just because of the liquidity and the fact that they don't offer a lot of strikes. It'd be much nicer if they offered better strikes in there. You could go to the weeklies. I don't like to trade the weeklies, but you almost have to in this product.
Are you talking about selling options? Because to me, this just looks like a buy shares and hold type of thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not selling options in here just because of the low price, and this is one of the stocks where I would just buy some calls or buy some puts if I was bullish or bearish in here. I wouldn't be selling premium probably. You got a $7 stock if you really truly are bullish in it, then stock is basically the price of a never expiring option at that point when you're talking a couple $100 or a couple dollar stock. But just in case it does break out, I did buy some calls in there today, and if it breaks out above this pretty clear level here.
Yeah, it's a big level. And it back tested it into the close, but it held the EMAs. So I'll be really interested to see how this looks next week. I'm kind of wondering if we just get a big pop after the Fed rate decision, but I'm still looking at this charting and thinking that we come and touch this level on the SPIX and then we have a retracement. And then that retracement will be the real ultimate dictator of whether we are truly bullish or not. So I think we come and test all-time highs again, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Honestly, this is still this.
Would you say it's an AI stock?
Mm-mm.
IonQ, it's probably on most AI watch lists, but it's quantum computing.
Yeah, I'm just looking
Quantum
at the website.
computing, if we ever do get it figured out on a broad scale, is going to be massive for AI because AI is so intensive that if they can.
What's interesting is that they're part. It says on their front page website they're partnering with Hyundai, Airbus, Lockheed Martin, and the only thing I can think of those companies having in common is eVTOLs, which I've had on my radar for a bit. You know, Hyundai's building eVTOLs. The next 5-10 years, eVTOLs are gonna be the next big thing in aviation. So if they're at the fucking foundation of eVTOLs becoming mainstream, that's easily $100 billion company if that works out for them.
Yeah, I'm not like a long term investor in here. I'm not going to comment on. Yeah, like if that's. I don't trade that way for the most part. But if that's, I mean, look at the yearly chart in there. Look at the longer term chart. It's clearly at a key level that it's been support and resistance for a long time. It's also relatively inexpensive compared to where it's been. If you like the idea of being a long-term investor, this current price is probably not a terrible price in relation to where it's been, where you've had the opportunity to buy it at. What else am I looking at? I fully anticipate next week that we're going to see the relationship between the Russell and the larger indexes, the NASDAQ and the S&Ps, kind of go back to normal. So we might see some relative weakness back into the Russell in relation to those other ones. Or even just more of an inline performance, not like we saw today where you've got it outperforming everything by nearly 2%. I think that ship has kind of sailed.
Looking here, you can get $35 IonQ calls for 2026 for about 26 cents. Noob speak. So for the price of what, 4 shares, you can get a call dated for 2 years out. It's pretty good.
What are you looking at there, Mr. Josh? I'm not in the.
I just had
In the
IonQ
YouTube.
pulled up. Honestly, I'm typing up my recap in the Discord and getting that written up for all our members there. So if you're a viewer on YouTube or you're watching this recording, well, all my trades and everything are shared in the Discord. Just doing my, kind of like a weekly reflection. I did good with the day trades, but I had some lacking performance in my swings, mostly because I was caught off sides on the squeeze here and forced to capitulate into the moves, cutting them. Those positions down, and I was able to compensate myself in my overall account performance by chasing the short-term rallies with some size. Standouts there would have been Meta, and there's one other good one. Upstart was decent. I think it was just the SPY calls that were really great. Taking those SPY calls repeatedly, that kind of bailed me out. We did have some IWM calls that we're good as well this week. So I mean, that's what's really like helped me keep my head above water. But you know, this really wasn't a week where you should be trying to keep your head above water. This is the kind of week where you should probably print pretty hard on this one-sided directional move. So I just came into the week with the wrong mental, and that suffered in my performance. And I mean, that's just the honest take of it. You know, we've been doing this. I've been doing this a long time, and sometimes you're just caught on the wrong side, and you have to climb out of the hole. And now that we're on the other side of that, thankfully, we can get back to some steady progress. And it's just that
I did have one more stock I wouldn't mind you taking a look at, especially like the yearly chart,
right.
which is one that I follow and we've traded before, is Roku.
Oh, Roku. I haven't looked at Roku in a while, actually.
Well, this thing this week had a massive breakout above an important gap level.
It did. What was it in?
Retraced off of, well, the earning. I don't know if it was earnings. You can see there where very recently it was all the way down at around $48, and there was clear capitulation. This was, I believe, right after earnings. So the earnings came out, and the earnings were not terrible, but it sold off, and then buyers stepped in, and it's done nothing but rally all the way. It rallied straight up from 48 to basically 70, retraced back down to about 74, and we're in a very strong breakout here where this gap that it just kind of defeated and is working its way up through is a pretty significant gap down that we're trying to take back here.
It is. I mean, if you clear this level, you pretty much have a straight shot to the 80s. And from there,
I just thought it was interesting. I like trading this.
Muscle the psychology on the 81.75 should be pretty strong. Actually, it should carry right through that. So this looks like oh my. To 99? Straight shot to 99? That would bring it to a really key level there.
This particular stock doesn't usually track. Another reason I like this is because it's not that large of a company. It's not, it usually is an extremely volatile company, meaning you get really big moves in it. And it usually kind of behaves a little bit more like the beat up pigs that are comprising the Russell. So kind of more in my wheelhouse in that regard too. Also, because it's so volatile, the premiums in there are usually pretty expensive. Right now, compared to where this thing has been, the premiums are not that expensive. It's got an IV of 47%, but the IV percentile is near the very bottom end of its range, meaning premiums are cheaper in here now than they have been for most of the last year. Does have a little bit of call skew priced in.
I set alert for it. I really like this. If it reclaims the highs there from Friday and then look for 85 just to see if this potentially becomes an BC corrective, but it could also turn into a 5-wave pattern, which would probably look something like this. And it would come, most likely, just revisit the highs of the year. Be a big move.
Yeah, I was buying this thing down into the 50s and even some in the high 40s, and I actually got out of it in like mid 65, but kicked myself when it rallied up to 70. Then it retraced. Thought about getting back in, but I didn't. And now I'm kicking myself yet again.
Yeah, it doesn't have the best risk to reward from a fundamental standpoint from where it's at. Analysts have a top range of 105, a lower range of 50. But on the chart looks good, especially with the daily recovering right here, and the weekly it was already bullish on the TTM. And I mean, just the price action just looks really good too. So, you know,
I'm probably going to be putting a trade on there. If we get a pullback in there, I'm going to be selling some puts. I'm not going to chase it into this up move. But
if this thing can get to like the 99 mark and then retrace from there, it'll be a crazy head and shoulders. It will be a crazy head and shoulders play. So actually, like, this thing might fire right through the. So I mean, this is probably a shallow fourth wave, like this, and then this fifth wave. I mean, 121 heading into 2025.
the other interesting, not even stock, I guess it's an ETF, that that I like to trade, doesn't look really that terrible right here, is FXI.
Oh god.
I know you don't like it.
I mean, it's just such a bummer to trade.
It is a bummer. I've been trading it for a while. I've actually done well in it. But it's like the child that you have that you really want the best for it, but they just never fail to disappoint you.
I mean, it has a really nice, it has a really nice double bottom here. From 2022 to 2023, like a really nice double bottom. And fundamentally, I still like China. The thing that's nice about this is it does have some like very like straightforward key level targets to hunt for. So, I mean, I've already looked at this a ton. Yeah,
Huh?
Actually, that would be A, B, C, 2, 3. Actually, that's a 5-wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this should be 1, 2. Oh wait. Out of the hole here, this should be. If this isn't a 5-wave pattern down right here.
The way that I've been trading this actually is just because it's been relatively bottomed out at this point. I've just been selling puts and using the premiums to buy calls. It hasn't, obviously the calls haven't been that good and they haven't worked great in this strategy, but it's also held its own to where it's kind of a scratch every time I do it. So I'm going to continue to repeat it until I see a breakout or I get clobbered to the downside.
I think this might be probably the downside in the short term. I'd look for 21. It might hit a triple bottom.
That would hurt.
Yeah, on the daily and weekly, it's not very strong. Yeah. I don't know. It just keeps making. You just need it. You desperately need it over the 29 mark right here. Is what you need. You need it over this. You need it to make a higher high, and just get out of this.
Well, I mean, there's a pretty clear level in there, even if you're long here. In my mind, if you get back down under 24.5, it's a pretty obvious out.
Yeah.
You're talking like $1 and some change of risk.
I mean, what you're watching there is this trend line. Basically, you have this large triangle right here. You get out of this triangle right here, and you can make a run for it.
That's all I have.
I don't even know. Can I set
Yeah, it's America. You can do whatever you want.
No, I don't. I don't know if I can set alert for a triangle in TradingView. I guess I need to look that up. But yeah, if this can break this triangle here, you're looking for basically probably above 27. That's what you're basically looking for. Probably be.
I'll tell you what's also encouraging is some of the companies that are comprised in this are starting to not necessarily take off to the upside, but they're starting to hold their own and, in my opinion, kind of hash out a bottom here. Larger Chinese tech companies.
Yeah, I know Baba was starting to look somewhat interesting. By the way, I'm 10 minutes over my cap, so. And Baba's starting to look really interesting, actually.
Much better than like Baidu. Baidu still looks like dog doo.
It does. I don't know. Honestly, I want Baba over 90.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, this price action is decent. I mean, you could probably over 85.79.
JD is another one that is kind of looking like it may be trying to find some level of bottom. Doesn't look as good as Baba. But then you've got the companies like Baidu and PDD that are just getting wrecked. And even some of the smaller companies in the Chinese market are just getting wrecked. Like I think IQ is a telecommunication company over there, and it's just all destroyed.
I forgot we have all almost. I can't just make a webhook because of our Discord security that I had set up. All right, I'll have to figure out how to navigate that later. All right, this has been a fun exercise. Anything you want to let the traders know who watch this? Anything you want to say to them, Noob? Abraham?
No, I mean, I hope to at least get some more content out. Maybe if it's only like every Sunday, we can.
You need to be sharing more of your trades in Discord too, just so people can learn the way you trade. You're actually seeing how you trade in Discord. You know, you're trying to get new people, but there's people in there that have found you through your YouTube that you're kind of ignoring right now. To be honest.
That's true. I do need to share more trades. I don't think people actually follow my trades though, for the most part, because I don't think that
they do. There's members who I ask, "How'd you find us?" So they say, "Oh, I'm here because of Abraham, and I like his trading style." And
well, I can post more of the trades because I definitely trade every day. I just
for viewers, he has a much different trading style than me. You know, usually if I'm eating it, Noob's doing well. If Noob's doing well, I'm probably also doing well.
I eat it.
There are definitely.
I eat it.
There are
you go
very,
straight.
There are very rare times where both me and Noob are doing poorly. Let's say it that way.
Yeah,
that's the best way to say it.
Yeah, that's true.
If
do
one of us
poorly.
is eating it, the other one's usually doing fine. If I'm eating it, he's usually doing fine. Like, we pretty much cover all bases as a duo. It's actually very symbiotic. Is that what you would say?
That is the appropriate use of that word.
Yeah.
No.
Very.
Yeah, I do need to do a better job. I guess I didn't think there was a lot of people that appreciated my style of trading or want to follow into those types of trades. But I can post more of them.
Yeah, there definitely are.
Because I trade probably like at least 20 different
I had 12
trades and investments on a day.
Trades for the entire week. How many do you think you had?
Just in my one account, let me look. I can tell you. Let's see. Filled trades. No, all trades filled in the last filter 7 days.
Yep.
Apply. So all the filled trades in the last 7 days. How many are on a page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 on a page, and there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 pages for this week.
So you had about 65 trades.
Over 65 trades in a week, yeah. Yeah. That's just one account.
Yeah. That's a lot, actually. That's a whole lot.
So yeah, in a week I probably the way that I trade, you have to make frequent adjustments though. You have to keep your delta in line.
Right.
And the way that you do that is by adjusting. So I manage probably about 7 different active accounts and then a couple of investment type accounts. But so yeah, the number probably is closer to 100 to 150 per week. More or less, depending on how busy the week is.
That's crazy.
Maybe I need a bot that can just post what I do.
That's what I'm trying to make. We can make you one too, actually, honestly. It would only pair to one account, though.
I can put it on my main account.
We built ours. I've been told that it should be up next week.
That'd be a lot easier.
And then you could go in and just edit and say like the logic behind it, like an adjustment trade for
Right.
delta purposes, or
Right.
like opening new trade bullish, opening new trade bearish, closing trade taking profits, closing trade loss, cutting.
Right.
Because that'd be like a full-time job, making 100, 200 posts every week. You know what I mean? 100 to 200 posts a week. That's a lot.
I mean, the way you do it,
I got shit to do.
You usually just screenshot shit on your phone and upload it.
I could do that every day. I could just screenshot my executed trades.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give the context of why you're doing it. Some of it would be like, well, why the heck did you do that? I guess I could screenshot it and give a quick summary.
Yeah,
Close this.
You take
Open
the
that.
trade,
Yeah.
screenshot it, upload it. You don't really need to give a summary, right? Like,
Well, I feel like you
give a
kind of
summary-
do.
You give a summary when people ask.
That's fair.
That's what I do. If someone, on these high conviction larger trades, I'll write the whole summary and stuff. But it's more necessary for what I do because I take so much more risk than you do,
That's true.
right? So like, I need to have strong reasoning. I need to have good technical analysis. I need to have a good fundamental understanding because I'm taking an enormous risk.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. So
The little kids account is up 4.5% in 2 months.
nice.
The middle one is up 6.5% in 2 months, and the oldest is up 16% in 2 months.
Holy crap. He's doing great for option selling. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's done well, and ironically enough, he's made the fewest amount of trades out of all of them.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it is ironic. So I think there's maybe something there to explore.
There probably is.
But, all right, man.
All right. Yep. That's time to call it. You have a good night. I hope everyone enjoyed the live stream. We have one viewer right now. Is that you, Nim?
No, I'm not watching.
Oh, okay. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you're watching this recording. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know. I guess the little tidbit is that this weekend I'm going to be finishing up some bonus content and launching some new products on the website, including a new course. I know the word course scares all of you. I have programmed you guys to not like the word course. It's not a course in your like standard definition of a course. It's merely a walkthrough of how I set up my trading view, how I set up my Thinkorswim, all the links I use when I'm day trading, all of that information compiled into one video. The basics of how to use my EMA clause, the basics of how to use the TTM squeeze, actually a little bit more than basics. So all in one video. There'll be tons of PDFs and learning materials as well, and in the description, because what you're buying is basically access to a private YouTube video. And then there'll be tons of links down below to Google Docs. So I've been creating all of that content. So I've created all these different learning materials and bonus materials. What you're paying for is the video, but you're going to get so much more than that. So I think I'm going to do the video for $100, and then I'm going to give you probably thousands of dollars worth of content in that. Again, I'm going to make that video a requirement for one-on-one mentorship that I'll be offering to those who have purchased the video. You have to have purchased the video if you want one-on-one mentorship. I will not accept anyone, regardless of how much you pay me, unless you have taken the video and gone through that material, because I'm not sitting down and taking time out of my day to potentially even go meet in person with someone who doesn't even know what a call is, doesn't know what a spread is. Like, I want you to have a good fundamental basis, and then we can work from there. Then you're an actual student, okay, a protege, and then we can really have fun and get you cooking as a trader. So that's coming. It's on the way. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be something different for me. It's going to also give people who don't want to use Discord another alternative to learn this stuff. So I'm expecting it to probably be older clients.